Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Trans India. Real people, real emotions. The second-hand truck market has always been a dicey one in India, with most of the transactions happening in the unorganized segment. The transporters and truckers have largely been dependent on the local market for purchase and sale of their trucks. However, a decade ago, Shriram Transport Finance Company, now known as Shriram Finance, kicked off Shriram Automall, a very unique business vertical to try to get some sense into the senseless used truck business. And heading Shriram Automall is the CEO and director Sameer Malhotra, who has been spearheading the company for a long time now, having seen the various transformations in the industry. But the biggest transformation has been getting this segment to get somewhat organized, with the buyers as well as the sellers getting a fair deal, and most importantly, not having to bother about the paperwork. So let's know more about the Automall journey, the network and the business structure from the CEO Sameer Malhotra, coming up after this very short break. You are watching Trans India, real people, real emotions.
महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका ब्लेजो एक्स सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देता है, वरना कर दीजिए ट्रक वापस।
सॉरी अजय, महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो है। एक्शन।
महिंद्रा गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका फ्यूरियो सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देता है, नहीं तो
एक्चुअली जयो, महिंद्रा जयो है, थोड़ा चेंज है। एंड एक्शन।
महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका जियो सबसे। चल क्या रहा है यहाँ पे?
मैम, ये चारों ट्रक ज्यादा माइलेज देते हैं, चारों।
तो ऐसा बोलो ना, ब्लेजो एक्स, फ्यूरियो, फ्यूरियो 7 और जयो। महिंद्रा के ये सभी ट्रक्स देते हैं सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज की गारंटी, नहीं तो कर दीजिए इन्हें वापस। महिंद्रा, देश की सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देने वाली ट्रक रेंज।
Welcome back to Trans India. Real people, real emotions. We will be talking today to Sameer Malhotra, the CEO and director of Shriram Automall, India's first organized platform for online and physical sale and purchase of used vehicles. So Sameer, can you tell us about the Automall journey? How has the growth map been?
That's a very interesting story to talk about. We were thinking about initially in 2010 that there will be some need for Shriram Transport Finance customers to look for some kind of a platform to help them to buy those used vehicles so that Shriram Transport Finance can finance it. And that's the starting of the discussion on this subject. We found that that's a very, very interesting way because there is no organized platform in the country. And then we opened up our first Automall in 26 February 2011. From that day onwards, we never looked back. Now we are in 120 cities, and we not only restricted ourselves into only taking care of one group customers, we gone into the whole industry, and we gone into anyone and everyone who's looking for to buy or to sell, whether it's any kind of a transporter, any kind of small or bigger fleet owners. It could be a bank and finance company, it could be OEMs for the trading stocks, it could be anyone throughout the country. We started adding up everyone who want to sell, and same way we are adding up in the more cities, more places, and we gone into more geographical locations and made it a whole marketplace in the country which can transact for anyone and everyone about used vehicles. So that's where the journey started.
Sameer, any particular geography where the numbers are significantly higher?
No, we are a pan-India company. We definitely have presence throughout the country. We are in 120 cities, as I said. Almost every major state of the country we have the presence. But yes, if you talk about South has given us more because we started from South. That could be one of the reasons that we have more presence and strong presence in South of the India. Almost 35 to 40% business comes from South itself. So that makes it more stronger in that part.
Samir, with Automall being a very new concept, how was the acceptance and what were the challenges that you faced initially?
Yeah, so I think it's all about journey and education about the concept. So we found and we thought that the more we educate people, the more the concept will be taken off, and that exactly what happened. Whenever we enter into any city, any place, we go and start meeting. We go to Transport Nagar. Generally, we make a lot of camps over there. We go and meet a lot of players over there, whether they are a transporter or they are helping the transporter to buy and sell. All those people become our customer. But yes, initial phase journey become tough to educate, to bring them to our platform, and most of the time we saw that when people come to us in the first time in the auction, they really try to understand. Over a period of time, they become actual user of our services. But that's a journey we know. That's where it takes time for a couple of months for anyone, because it's a very, very unique platform where everything is transparent. To understand the whole process, that takes time. Sometimes we do a lot of program before the auctions, before our launching of the cities, where we go to Transport Nagar, teach them about the methods. We go through all that, but still the experience for them is unique and they like it so much. Sometimes it takes them time to understand how to use the services. But yes, once they are with us, they are forever with us. So that's what happens.
So how simple is the process once a person comes to your platform? What is the journey like for a person wanting to buy or sell a truck?
So there are two different journeys for buyer and seller. So we'll talk about first the seller. So once you decide to sell something, it's you just have to contact the nearest Automall, and the team from there, the sales team will approach you. They'll go through all your fleet, they'll inspect, they'll check, they'll go through not only the physical fleet checking, they also go through the paperwork also, and they take all those basic documents with them. And we prepare our own catalogs, or prepare all our details. Once it is ready, we have the auction date, which is prefixed. We ensure that assets and trucks comes to our Automall before the auction, because people have to come there. A lot of buyers come there. There could be some of the bigger auction, we get 400, 500 people coming there to buy it. So they want to come and inspect the vehicle beforehand, before they start bidding on those vehicles. So generally we prefer vehicles can come up to 1 week in advance. That's generally our preference. Once vehicles are there, we properly park it in such a way that it becomes much more presentable. We wash it, we clean it, we go through all paperwork. Again, papers are in our offices, and we do a lot of marketing around those assets so that we get the right buyer for it. So once buyer has been ascertained, we go through a lot of database what we have. We check who has bought some particular kind of vehicles and who could be in need of some such kind of vehicle. So we do a lot of buyer marketing around it. We get our prospective bidders to the marketplace. Same way we teach them. We go through the bidder, we go through their KRAs, we go through the KYCs, we go through their take a deposit, so that we want only serious players who want to bid on that. So we do a lot of training to them. We do a lot of education about vehicles available with us, so that once they come, they get a lot of choices to make. They can inspect beforehand, so that they are much more satisfied. They can check the papers, so they are much satisfied, and we take care of all the journey of them. For once they come to the Automall, they start bidding on it. Highest bidder gets the vehicle. Same way seller is happy because he gets the highest price on those vehicles, and both the places, both the buyers and sellers are happy. Seller gets the best price, buyer gets the best vehicle, and we help them to transact the whole journey. From seller side they get the money, from buyer side he gets the vehicle, and transaction is completed. So that's the way we go through a lot of training, a lot of happening, and a lot of activity at our end to make both buyer and seller happy.
So Samir, the paperwork is handled by Automall?
Yeah, so depending upon some of the time buyer says they want to handle on their own, so we leave it to them. But we have a service which is called sample documentation services, where we have all the RTO services available, including we can check which RTO to which transferred and all, what are the challenges in the documentation side, what are the any challans or anything is pending, what is the taxes over there, any pendency in the taxes and all. So we go through all that. We help the buyer to understand all those things. Sometimes sellers update all those things, all the taxes, if any outstanding, all the challans or any other pending things are there, including insurance. Sometimes we just sell it as is, where is. So buyer but has all the information. He bids on the vehicle, keeping those costs in mind, and accordingly he pays the price of the vehicle.
Friends, more than often it has been seen that transporters and truckers have a mindset that an organized player would not fetch the right price for their vehicles be it selling or buying. But what is the fact? We'll know this and more as we continue our interaction with Samir after this very short break. You are watching Trans India, real people, real emotions.
महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका ब्लेजो एक्स सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देता है, वरना कर दीजिए ट्रक वापस।
सॉरी अजय, महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो है। एक्शन।
महिंद्रा गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका फ्यूरियो सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देता है, नहीं तो
एक्चुअली जयो, महिंद्रा जयो है, थोड़ा चेंज है। एंड एक्शन।
महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका जियो सबसे चल क्या रहा है यहाँ पे?
मैम, ये चारों ट्रक ज्यादा माइलेज देते हैं, चारों।
तो ऐसा बोलो ना, ब्लेजो एक्स, फ्यूरियो, फ्यूरियो 7 और जयो। महिंद्रा के ये सभी ट्रक्स देते हैं सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज की गारंटी, नहीं तो कर दीजिए इन्हें वापस। महिंद्रा, देश की सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देने वाली ट्रक रेंज।
Welcome back to Trans India, real people, real emotions. We are talking today to the CEO and director of Shriram Automall, Samir Malhotra. Samir, one of the mindset with dealing with an organized player like Automall is that customers feel that they will get a lower cost while selling their truck. What are your thoughts on the same?
It's not about the cost. I think we need to look into who's providing the best possible service. So that's more critical than the cost. I think who's more transparent, who's more actively helping them to get the right choice, whether it's a buyer or the seller. For seller, there could be so many hassles for them to sell when they are going into each and every truck. Suppose there's a fleet of 20 trucks. He has to go to 20 times through different buyers to go through every transaction. Instead of that, they can just pass on everything to us. And all that experience we have to carry with us. We have all the logistics, team, people, awareness, everything. And they just get busy into the transport job. That's what is their main business is all about. And they leave it to us, everything, to manage the selling of the fleet at the highest price. So we get into all that journey to collect the money, to pay them on time, paperwork is done on time. So all those hassles are taken away also to get the best price. So they should be having peace of mind that they're getting the best prices on those vehicles. Same way for buyer, and as a transporter buyer, they don't have to go to 10 different depots to check those vehicles. They go to one yard, one place, one Automall, where they have hundreds of variety of vehicles to choose from, and they can check which is their nearest requirement for them, and they sit in the Automall auctions and they bid, and they become the highest bidder depending upon what is their price they want to bid on that vehicle. And there is everything is transparent. They don't feel cheated. There is everything is what price they pay that goes directly to seller. That's another unique thing. We provide that. There is nothing we keep in between for us. Everything goes to the seller, whatever price has been paid by buyer. Same way for seller, whatever has been bid by buyer, that's directly been transparently been told to them. We just charge our service charges in between. So we are very, very transparent. We want both the worlds happy. We want the best price for the right vehicle at the maximum price for the seller, and also the best vehicle for the buyer, and that's way both of them been happy in our marketplace.
Samir, you have been in Automall for a long time now. Actually, you've been through the entire growth journey. What significant changes have you seen in this segment?
It's become more organized, but we can saw that now. The people are, one was the industry where we saw there is up and downs in the industry. The things have changed very, very fast. Especially last couple of years, especially with the COVID era, we saw that COVID has taken away a lot of the momentum which was built up in 17-18. We have seen the peak was coming at that time in the transport industry sale. The things were happening. The transport industry was going through a very, very different journey. And then COVID era came and everything started changing. But nonetheless, we saw the people and transporters becoming more technological savvy. We saw that now. We are introduced a lot of new stuffs recently. We have, in fact, we now become the largest phygital auction company in the country now. We are a phygital marketplace where both buyers and sellers are meeting. So all our auctions now are physically happening but digitally available to you anywhere in the country. So I'll take an example that you are sitting in Manesar, but Automall auction is happening in Karnal. You can bid on that vehicle live at the same time. People are sitting there and bidding there, and you can bid sitting in your office, in your hub itself, and you can be equally participative in those Automall auctions. So that's makes us the digital auction. That's a new technology we started, and it is called Bid Live, and which is very unique in the industry. We also recently launched our PriceX, which is the price tool what we introduced, which is again a digital technological based on our all the 10 years of journey and database what we got on the algorithms what we developed by our IT team and all. We on that basis we have created a tool where you can put in any vehicle details. You can get a tentative price of that vehicle, what could it fetch in the market. That's very unique, and especially it will help all the transport industry per se. And so we found that all our customers are becoming more technological developed. Even if we always thought transport industry is not that progressive looking, but now things have changed. They are more happy with the new things. They want the better services. They're ready to pay the price. So we saw that, which was earlier a barrier in the mind, that people not ready to pay the price, but now things are changing. People ready to pay the price if the services are correct, if services are good, and you are best in your services, they're ready to pay you the right price. So I think technology and mindset change is two major things what we saw in the industry.
Samir, what about the small truckers, the guys with 1 or 2 trucks? What has been their approach or acceptance towards Automall?
In fact, our 95% of our customers are those only. They believe on much easier access to such kind of a platform because their journey is so easy for them. They feel like home. The atmosphere over there we have created in such a way that everybody comes with the background of transportation, with the 1 or 2 truck owners, the kind of background they have. For them, it's the right conducive environment to bid, sit there. Everything is so easy and transparent that they become so easily tuned to the system that they get the best of the choices, which is very difficult for them to go to so many places to buy. So the smaller transport owner, whether they want to buy or they want to sell, this is the best journey for them when they transact through Shriram Automall.
And does Shriram Finance do most of the financing of these transactions?
Yes, for last close to a decade, they are the preferred financer always in the industry for a used vehicle finance. We saw that, and in our Automalls, they always have a desk, and their teams are very active. They approach every customer to finance, so they are definitely very active and been preferred by most of our customers.
Well, the government has made its thoughts very clear that older vehicles are going to be scrapped sooner or later. The axe has fallen on government vehicles, and very soon the same will hit the private vehicles as well. Needless to say that trucks older than 50 years would go off the roads. While the government is still fine-tuning the policy, they are also inviting private players to set up scrap yards. So what are Samir's thoughts on the scrapping policy, and will Automall venture into setting up scrapping yards? We will continue our discussion with Samir after this very short break. You are watching Trans India, real people, real emotions.
महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका ब्लेजो एक्स सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देता है, वरना कर दीजिए ट्रक वापस।
सॉरी अजय, महिंद्रा फ्यूरियो है। एक्शन।
महिंद्रा गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका फ्यूरियो सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देता है, नहीं तो
एक्चुअली जयो, महिंद्रा जयो है, थोड़ा चेंज है। एंड एक्शन।
महिंद्रा ये गारंटी देते हैं कि उनका जियो सबसे चल क्या रहा है यहाँ पे?
मैम, ये चारों ट्रक ज्यादा माइलेज देते हैं, चारों।
तो ऐसा बोलो ना, ब्लेजो एक्स, फ्यूरियो, फ्यूरियो 7 और जयो। महिंद्रा के ये सभी ट्रक्स देते हैं सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज की गारंटी, नहीं तो कर दीजिए इन्हें वापस। महिंद्रा, देश की सबसे ज्यादा माइलेज देने वाली ट्रक रेंज।
Welcome back to Trans India, real people, real emotions. We are talking today to Samir Malhotra, the CEO and Director of Shriram Automall, India's first organized platform for online and physical sale and purchase of used vehicles. Sameer, what are your thoughts on the scrapping policy? How do you see this impacting the industry on the whole?
I think on the long run, definitely it will going to be a very, very useful for the economy per se. We have seen best of the all worlds. Like we see there is a Japanese way where they're talking about giving incentive to the people, and there is an American way where they're talking about penalty when you are not doing a scrapping on time. And India is coming out of the policy which is they're talking about both. They're talking about if you're not scrapping it in 15 years or 10 years, depending on whatever type of vehicle you're owning. Also, they're talking about the incentive to the people who are going for scrapping of the vehicle. So I think on a draft policy, the policy which has been framed right now is one of the best possible for the industry, for the consumer, as well as for the OEMs per se. It's all about now implementation, how fast we can develop the scrap yard, how can we fast developing the system around which everybody has been part and parcel and use of this policy per se. I think that's a journey. It might be a very, very long journey for the country. We know the systems and new things, which how much time it takes. But yes, if once it is into full in flow, I think it will be very, very useful for all the users. It will be very good for the economy because we'll be saving a lot of foreign exchange, because the imports will go down on the material, and metals will be saving out of it. Also for all the OEMs, the sale will go better and better. And the same way for a player like us, there will be much more bigger business and better business for all of us. I think per se, the scrappage policy is fantastic. The only thing is we need to see the day when this fully been implemented and people started accepting it.
So Sameer, the government has been asking the private players to come forward and set up scrapping yards. Is Automall exploring to set up one or multiple scrap yards?
It's a very, very different business. You need a lot of investments around it. So we are not against the investment. We are not against. We are still studying the whole business per se. We are definitely one of the best suiting for this business. We know, we understand the used vehicle market. We have a lot of buyers and sellers around it. We have the yards all across the country. We have the capacity. We have the money to invest. So we have everything. We're just waiting for the right time, the right policy and implementation, and better understanding about the whole process. Right now, we are not very sure which way it will go finally. But yes, looks like very, very interesting business proposition for us.
Do you feel that once the scrapping policy is in full force, there would be an exponential increase in your numbers as well?
I think it will take time for India to adopt this kind of any new change what happens for the country or for the economy. So exactly that's exactly will happen. It might take time for people to understand, but once it happens, it can go very, very aggressively, exponentially. The business volumes will change for everyone whosoever is going to be in this particular kind of industry, and volumes will be very high for them.
Well, Sameer, we believe that once the scrapping policy comes into full effect, there will be a huge surge in volumes, especially in the used truck business. How is Automall preparing for this, and has the groundwork already started?
Yeah, for last couple of, I think last 2 years, we are watching all this very, very closely. We as a company, as an industry, as a industry player, we are very, we are ready. We're looking into how the implementation goes stronger, from where the vehicles can start coming in. So we'll be ready for acquiring and helping those people to dispose of those vehicles, and also for people who are or a scrapper or a company who's been already been approved by government, how they can buy those vehicles. So we are already looking into some models around it. So we are fully ready, and as the volumes will pick up, as the industry will understand much better, as the government will put it more stronger foot on these businesses and these steps towards it, the implementation becomes stronger. I think we are ready as a company, and will be there to serve both sides of the business.
Sameer, how much has the transport industry changed in the last decade or so?
As one was the COVID effect we can see, which we saw in last couple of years. Second is the value of the vehicles getting more expensive for them, all of them to change hands. So also we saw there is a pressure on the overall the rates which been taken by the transporter, and also we saw that overall the the competition for everyone has gone much higher. There is no new players have come in the industry, and the last not the least, that the kind of assets we were using, the quality of asset has become better. So all those things put together has taken away we were saying earlier 4 to 5 years there was a bigger transporter was looking for change of the vehicle. Now looking into, they are changed into 6 to 7 years for them. Same with the person who was looking into 6 to 7, they have gone into 7 to 9 years. So everybody has pushed their change of fleet into slightly more longer period of time because they want now the better use of the asset. Asset utility has gone better for them, the life of the asset is better. So all those things put together has helped them to, so this is one major change what we saw, that the use of the asset and things have been changed. Second, the value of the asset has changed. We saw the resale value of the asset is become much more stronger over a period of time. We are seeing every year 6 to 7% change and increase in the price level. So that has made two major things, which is we saw the last change in last 2-3 years.
Samir, competition is something that every industry has to deal with. But with Automall being probably the sole player in the organized segment, not to mention the sheer size and geographical reach of Automall, do you see competition to your business model in the future?
No, we always feel that there is a different kind of competition in the marketplace, which is more from unorganized sector. So there are a lot of players in the market who are local level dealers who go to this, anybody want to sell, they go and try to meet them and try to help them to get a buyer for them. But yes, per se, the kind of platform what we have created, the Automall as a company, as a platform what we have created, there's no other company in the country who has been able to do it, and they have not been able to do it. And there is no other solution available the way we are having physically and digitally available throughout the country, in every part of the country. I think it will take for anyone to set up that kind of a operation. It will take a long time for anyone to come and be there. But we feel we have to keep on improving, and that's what we do all the time. Make better services for our customer, both as a buyer and seller, how they can use us much better and efficiently.
Finally, Samir, with so much happening in this industry all around, how do you see Automall 5 years from now?
I think we'll be definitely growing our volumes. We're looking into the way industry has changed, especially if you talk about the volumes of the industry is changing very, very fast. The methodologies by which industry is adopting to the newer things and such kind of methods is also very, very fast, and been very pleasant for us because industry is changing very fast. We feel we'll be one of the major players, and we'll be helping every user, whether it's a buyer and seller, much more efficiently. They will be definitely taking us our name, at least they'll be coming to us at least to discuss once anyone want to sell or anyone who want to buy. That's our dream right now, that in the whole country, anybody want to buy, anybody want to sell, they must keep our mind at least once, and they must talk to us once before doing the transaction. So that's, I think we'll be there in that place in 5 years from now.
Well friends, that was our interaction with the CEO and Director of Shriram Automall, Samir Malhotra. With the recent changes in the overall road transport industry, it looks certain that there would be a significant change of hands in the used truck business. At the moment, Shriram Automall seems to have captured a sizable chunk of that business and has spread its network far and wide. We will be back again next week with another interesting and exciting interaction. See you again next week. Until next Sunday, take care. Jai Hind.